Hey, everybody. It is Wednesday morning at 11 o'clock. That means it's time for Brown Bag Lunch. I am Dr. John Sherk, and I am here every week to give you tips and ideas on how to compete for the talent that you need with culture instead of wages. So I do want you all to know that next week, I'm putting together a 2-hour workshop. Next week, today is February 2nd. So on Thursday next week, February 10th, from 11 until 1 o'clock Central Time, I'm putting together a workshop that, guess what, is called How to Compete for Talent with Culture Instead of Wages. And this will just give you take an extended lunch break, and it'll just give you time, and I'll talk you through it. So how do I get started? What should be my game plan? Where do I go with this? What do I do? Right? The number one question I get is, I like this idea, but where do I even get started? So we're just going to take 2 hours, just talk through that. So you can reach out to me below. We'll just get you registered. There's no cost. I'm setting aside 2 hours for folks who want to work on that. And let me know if this becomes something that's of value. I can offer this maybe once a month. It's just a 2-hour ramp in to getting started this way. So on that note, the topic I want to talk about today is how to use authority inside of a business. Now, there's two pieces of this. There's where does the authority come from? And then when I have it, how do I use it, right? Excuse me. So number one, there are three sort of sources for authority. One of them is your role. This means you exist on an org chart. Hey, Alan, good to see you as well. On the org chart, you have a role. Let's say your title is service manager, and that means you have authority over someone formally, right? So to formally oversee someone means you can basically tell them what to do as a function of your role in the organization. This is power because of respect for your role. This should be seen as, to get results using this role is kind of not the ideal option. This is basically saying, because I'm the boss, you have to do what I tell you. There are better ways to use that authority. To use the fact that you have that hammer doesn't mean you should use that hammer very much. But it can be confused with the assignment of job duties. This kind of do it or you're fired is not very friendly culturally. So what happens is people use this, and then they become unpopular as a manager or as a boss, and their people tend to not care for them as much, and you lose those people. Okay, I mean, I think this is probably old school and kind of obvious. Okay, so first is the role. Next is your expertise. Your expertise is influence or authority that you have because of what you know and what you have accomplished. And sometimes this is what you know technically in the air conditioning business. Sometimes this is what you have done, you have accomplished yourself in the past. In other words, you may have technical knowledge of, excuse me, you may have technical knowledge of how to do maintenance on a 100-ton screw chiller, right? Or you may have a set of accomplishments in the past that qualify you, like you have managed maintenance on 500 pieces of equipment, right? But for whatever it is, it's something that you've accomplished. And this is an authority that people look to for advice, for coaching, for mentoring, to, like, you have knowledge. How can either I access that knowledge, or if you were me, what would you do? That sort of thing. Okay. Now, third one, obviously, expertise takes a long time to get. The role you can get in a day. The expertise takes a while. The third one is the relationship source. And this is power because of the trust and empathy that you have with someone else. Whereas the expertise is power because of what you have accomplished yourself. The relationship is especially because of what you have helped someone else accomplish. Right? That's a very powerful, influential relationship. Now, there can be relationship before they've accomplished something, but it's belief that you will help them accomplish something. That's what this relationship is. This, and I talk about this quite a bit, so forgive me for repeating myself. This is not the relationship you get by going out for beers after work, right? That is a relationship, and it can be somewhat helpful back at work. The problem is it's a relationship without any authority in it. We're just pals having beers. When you come back to work and you want to influence someone and the authority isn't in it, it has a different tone. It's a peer-to-peer tone, except you're actually the boss. And so when I talk about relationship, I'm talking about a relationship with the authority in it, with the formal authority in it, right? Which just simply means this. You're clarifying an expectation for them, right? I want this PM done in 2 hours. I want you on the job site by 7 a.m., whatever the expectation is. And then you're following it up with whatever level of support is required to make sure they become successful. The expectation, the meeting of it makes them successful. The relationship and the follow-up that gets them there, the feeling of the wind under their wings, this is the relationship we're talking about, okay? This is going to be dramatically impactful on the results of your people. And this is very much represented in the kind of culture where there's competition for talent that works because of the culture. Yeah, but I have more talks on this, but this dynamic, there's some things that are very foundational to being able to compete for talent with culture and how authority works and people feeling like the person who has authority over me, this is good news. Like that's a core part of that. And this is part of how that's accomplished. You have to create an expectation. If you're just too warm, they won't really respect you. And if you're just their pal and we just go out for beers after work and that's all it is, they won't really respect you, right? You have to be able to communicate a kind of competence and a kind of expectation of them as well. But it's the relationship that comes from making sure they're successful over and over again and them feeling you do it while they get the credit for it. Okay? So role, expertise, and relationship. Those are your nuggets for today. My name is Dr. John Sherk, and this is Brown Bag Lunch. I'd love to see you here every Wednesday. Alan, thanks for popping in. If you like what you hear on this channel on Wednesday mornings, please tell it to your friends. Please share below any questions or comments you want us to follow up on. Also, any topics you'd like me to cover. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'm signing out for this week. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.